Smurf, this is cool.
Christ clean me up. Christ clean me up. I ain't got a stain and I'm feeling brand new. Yeah, 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 yeah. Christ clean me up. Yeah, I'm like this. The gospel, my friend, made me righteous. Now I'm walking like Christ in his likeness. I can't live the same, I don't desire it. Hold on, man. We're gonna do it like this. Yeah, I'm like this. The gospel, my friend, made me righteous. Walking like Christ in his likeness. Can't live the same, I don't desire it. Cause I admire him. Yeah, boy, I'm like this. The gospel changed me up, I got a new frame. Can't live the same, I got a new brain. New eyes, new heart, can't do the same. Yeah, got a new name. Yeah, boy, I'm like this. Righteous all because of Christ did. Being conformed to his likeness, new man's priceless. Yeah, he didn't leave me in the muck and mire. He constantly cleaning me up. He giving new desires. By his grace, ain't living the same. Living in shame, living unashamed. Living to give glory to his names. Christians repent, we had a change of mind. So we literally ain't seeing the same. New frame, new brain. Yeah, my faith in God brought new actions. Before I chase worldly passions. Yeah, now I'm like this, righteous. Hey, brothers, no longer blind. Yeah, I'm like this. The gospel, my friend, made me righteous. Walking like Christ in his likeness. Can't live the same, I don't desire it. Cause I admire him. Yeah, boy, I'm like this. The gospel changed me up, I got a new frame. Can't live the same, I got a new brain. New eyes, new heart, can't do the same. Yeah, got a new name. Yeah, boy, I'm like this.
And a huge wave. And y'all, I thought about that last night and said, it really feels like us in 2025. It seems like our boat is moving into a Project 2025 world that is downright contradictory. A world that is dark. A world that lets us know that really it's not about competence that will get you a cabinet position. It's about your sucking up and brown nosing to the person who will take the oath of office tomorrow on a Bible he ain't never read to defend the Constitution he's already violated. And y'all, it hit me that this is exactly where we are right now.
But again, he learned it from Adam right here in this church. And that's why tomorrow in Washington, they're going to inaugurate President Trump, 47th President of the United States, which he won the election. But across town at Metropolitan AME, we're having a rally, church where Frederick Douglass was funeralized, church where we brought Rosa Parks' body, and we're going to start a 90-day countdown. We're going to start some of these companies that want to end DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Well, they can do that.
All things theology, we chop it up properly, without an apology. Gotta give that doxology to God, hollow because this is how we do it at All Things Theology.
Yo, grace and peace. Welcome back to another episode of All Things Theology, where this is your host, K-Dub, and we gotta start off with some breaking, not so breaking, surprising news, and that's Donald J. Trump is the president of the United States currently, which further substantiates one thing. Celestial is a false prophet. I mean,
how dare you?
We already knew that. We already knew that, right? Guaranteed she is a false prophet since she declared that Kamala Harris would actually be the next president of the United States. Let's actually hear him being sworn in and the inauguration. Let's hear that real briefly. Here's a question I have, because the Biden and Harris spent really the last 2 years calling Donald Trump Hitler 2.0, using a lot of that language about him. Why would they be congratulating and shaking his hands? Okay, that's another question for another day. But a lot of these black churches yesterday spent their time being mad. Being big mad. I mean, the whole sermons from a lot of these black churches, black pastors, largely black, predominant black churches, right? Were just sermons how mad they were at Trump and Dr. King. Oh, because yeah, today is MLK Day, right? And so they were just, man, they were just so upset. We got to start with one. We got to start with Freddie Haynes. Freddie Haynes is actually in South Dallas. He's not too far from me. And I listened to this sermon this morning. Somebody said this. I was like, this is ridiculous. I was like, come on, man.
You got to stop doing that. You got to stop doing that.
I don't care what side of the aisle. Hey, let's say you're more, Democratic. Let's say you're more Republican. I hope none of that actually matters to the relevance of this sermon. Because I think no matter where you land, you're going to be like, okay, all this is ridiculous. You want to say that? All this is ridiculous. Okay. I got a lot of thoughts on MLK and I'll share some of those, but let's actually get into Freddie Haynes. Let's hear what he's talking about. Let's check out this first clip.
Because life will come at you fast and furious. That's the story of, who is it? The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Will Smith. He testifies through rap. This is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down.
What?
You got to stop doing that.
What?
You got to stop
Boy,
doing
ain't no
that.
way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
What is happening? Why are we talking about Will Smith? And hey, guys, this ain't the only rapper he's going to quote. These ain't the only rap lyrics. I wish these were the only rap lyrics that were quoted during this sermon. Someone says, look at the background. We'll address that in a second. We'll address this in a second. But he's quoting Will Smith, right? And it's going to get more ridiculous. So, hey, look, I'm going to just let it play. I think most people can be like, why is this happening? You know, you're saying something like this.
I'm tired of church.
It's a trip because when you keep listening to the lyrics, Will Smith testifies that there were some kids in the neighborhood who were up to no good. And when you look at the video that accompanies the song in the intro to the series, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you can literally see the kids in the neighborhood up to no good. They take Will Smith
started making trouble in my neighborhood.
Him in the air. This is the story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down. I hang out right there for just a moment because there are people who mean you no good who will flip and turn your world upside down. And somebody is listening to me right now. Already I'm in your Kool-Aid. I've called out your flavor, and you may not be called Will Smith, but you know what it's like to have your life flip, turn upside down.
Sir, none of us wants to be Will Smith.
No.
None of us want to be Will Smith anyway. But let me actually give the sermon he tried to preach. The sermon was about Habakkuk 2:2. Now, the sermon had literally nothing to do, something at the end about, see, it said, write your vision. You need to have a vision for your life. That's actually what Habakkuk 2:2 is about. All these pastors use that passage about that. But what does Will Smith have to do with anything? I mean, these guys would struggle to preach the Bible, like if it hurt them, right? Grace and peace, Greg. We're not playing your song today. You're just going to have to sit back and enjoy this one.
Especially by people who mean you no good. It happens, my sisters and brothers. It's the way this thing called life goes. And when life comes at you fast and furious, it will flip and turn your world upside down. This weekend, we celebrate the life and legacy, the light and the liberating love of the drum major for justice, Martin Luther King Jr. But please understand that behind the glory there is a story. Check out the story, because Martin King can identify with life coming at you fast and furious, and before you know it, your life is flipped, turned upside down.
Why are we preaching MLK, man? Come on, man. What are we doing? What are we doing? Look, I am not a fan. Look, okay, let me backstep a little bit. one can be thankful of some of the social justice efforts he brought about. Again, I think there are some foundational problematic issues, even with that. Not going to get into that in this video. But celebrating the life and legacy, I mean, the life of MLK was a mess. And, we get into his theological issues. Yes, MLK was a classic liberal theologian. He denied the inerrancy of the Bible. He denied the deity of Christ. He denied the bodily resurrection of Jesus. I can get into some of these citations. Just go read his works. I mean, matter of fact, I might do one. How about that? Would you like one MLK citation to demonstrate that MLK had a problem with believing in the full bodily deity of Jesus Christ, or the fullness of God dwelling in him bodily? Let's do that. Let me see if I can find this quote here. I bookmarked it today because I was like, you know what? Somebody may ask me for proof, and you want to be ready in season, out of season, so to speak. If I can find this, where did it go? See, Twitter be changing up so much stuff. I'd be like, where were you? Oh, here it is. Here it is. No, that's not it. Man, I swore I bookmarked it. Now I can't find it. Of course I can't find it. But hold on, let me check one more area. If it ain't there, then I don't know where it's at. Oh, here it is. Got it. So in his book, The Humanity and Divinity of Jesus, notice what he says, and the author is MLK, right? He says, certainly this view of the divinity of Christ presents many modern minds with insuperable difficulties. And notice he includes himself in that difficulty. He says, many of us are not willing to see the union of the human and the divine in a metaphysical incarnation. And when he says metaphysical, real, it's not a real incarnation. It's, you can make it some kind of parable, some kind of, symbolism or something. But to believe it's a real thing, he says, we have issues with that. Let's continue. He says, yet amid all of our difficulties with the pre-existent idea and the view of supernatural generation, we must come to some view of the divinity of Jesus. Notice, we gotta have some kind of explanation. He says, in order to remain in the orbit of the Christian religion, we must have a Christology. This is the view of King. As Dr. Bailey has reminded us, we cannot have a good theology without a Christology. Where then can we have the liberal tradition find the divine dimension in Jesus? Notice where he considers himself in the liberal tradition. And that's the liberal theological tradition, not just a political tradition. He says, we may find the divinity of Christ not in his substantial unity with God. Oh, we can't believe Jesus is equal with God. But in his filial consciousness, in his unique dependence upon God. It was in his telling of absolute dependence on God, as Schleiermacher, which is another liberal theologian, would say, that made him divine. So the reason Jesus is divine is because he depended upon the divine. So somehow you come infused with divinity by your dependence on the divine one. You see the problematics with King right here? I hope so. He says, yes, it was the warmth of his devotion to God and the intimacy of his trust in God that accounts for his being the supreme revelation of God, just like I said. All of this reveals to us that one man has at least realized his true divine calling. That of becoming a true son of man, by becoming a true son of God, it is the achievement of a man who has, as nearly as we can tell, completely opened his life to the influence of the divine spirit. End quote. From Dr. King. Again, there are so many theological issues with Dr. King, and that emphasizes just one of them. But we got to keep going on because he got a lot to say about Trump. Remember, that's what we're talking about. Why is he so upset? Let's keep going.
Negative scene that we are witnessing, and I bring your attention back to that canvas again. You see a small boat that is heading into a dark space.
So he's explaining this picture back there that he says someone painted, right? It's a picture of MLK. Just a weird thing to just have in the church, to be exegeting this picture rather than the text, right?
And a huge wave. And y'all, I thought about that last night and said, it really feels like us in 2025. It seems like our boat is moving into a Project 2025 world that is...
Look, Donald J. Trump has said over and over and over, he is not implementing Project 2025. I mean, could he be lying? Sure. But just on the face value of his words, right? Look, that's what he said. And from my understanding, he hasn't done anything to make me think he isn't for Project 2025, right? But what he's trying to paint Donald J. Trump is that he is this mass. He's trying to paint Donald J. Trump as some kind of Hitler figure, right? And he's about to bring in diabolical policies that's going to set black people back 200, 300 years. That's the picture he's trying to paint. Pardon the pun, by the way.
Downright contradictory, a world that is dark, a world that lets us know that really it's not about competence that will get you a cabinet position. It's about your sucking up and brown nosing to the person who will take the oath of office tomorrow on a...
Now, so you got to pick which one you want. Either Trump is Hitler or he got to his position by brown nosing, sucking up to everybody, right? I mean, to me, those are contradictory things. I want to read a comment from the League. Critic says, I'm sorry, but nobody has ever said King had good theology or was even a perfect man. Well, I'm not criticizing the lack of perfection because that's all of us, right? And there are people who justify his bad theology. He says, we celebrate him because of his contributions to the civil rights movement. I thought this was common sense. We should not celebrate heretics in the church. I mean, I thought this was common. I thought this was biblical sense. So let's get biblical, right? Can we talk for a minute?
Can we talk for a minute? The Bible says,
by this standard, we should be celebrating all sorts of problematic people who brought about social change, right? I mean, a whole sermon about this. That's my issue. You know, it wasn't just a statement in passing like, hey, thankful for the life and legacy that he brought about social change and move on to the text. No, this dude was literally exegeting Dr. King's life. Had nothing to do with the text he was supposed to be talking about, Habakkuk 2:2. But it's going to get a lot worse. It's going to get a lot worse.
Bible he ain't never read to defend the...
Hold on. Let's go back.
About competence that will get you a cabinet position. It's about your sucking up and brown nosing to the person who will take the oath of office tomorrow on a Bible he ain't never read to defend the Constitution he's already violated. And y'all, it hit me that this is exactly where we are right now. We are heading into a darkened season where the waves seem to be much more than our little boat. It is a dark time. It is a picture that lets us know exactly what's happening. And I think that's how my man Habakkuk must have felt. Habakkuk, my sisters and brothers, in chapter 1 has already told us that he is upset because of the fact that a wicked and crooked nation led by a wicked and crooked king, Nebuchadnezzar,
you know, there were a lot of people. There were a lot of people that. Also, let me backtrack. There were a few pastors who wanted to compare Trump to Nebuchadnezzar. And let me say this: I don't think Biden is Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar was literally throwing people in the fire for not worshiping him. I mean, we have not had a president like Nebuchadnezzar, right? And so, trying to compare him to Nebuchadnezzar to try to make this point that he's like this, again, Trump ain't a Christian. No question. There's no question about that. Right. But trying to paint him as Nebuchadnezzar is just a little bit extreme. Right. But we'll keep going.
Babylon is now dismantling any stability in the known world. It is a time of unsettling, upsetting, upheaval. And as a consequence, here is Babylon running things. And God knows Babylon is crooked. And so here's what my man Habakkuk does. Habakkuk calls on God, and God does not respond. And finally, Habakkuk concludes that God must have blocked his number. I think I'll stop right there.
Yeah, and so, again, the whole point was try to use Habakkuk 2:2 to say, well, Trump is just Nebuchadnezzar, right? And again, this isn't going to be the last time we hear that from these preachers, right? Again, this sermon had nothing to do with the actual text. It was a proof text to really jump onto ranting about how he's not happy about the election results. Okay, whatever. Whether you are for it or against it, just preach the Bible. I mean, you're at some point going to be let down by the election results, no matter who you vote for. But what does that got to do with, as Tertullian said, what does Athens have to do with Jerusalem? It doesn't. But a little more to talk about. Let's hear this rant.
It's a contradiction. It makes no sense. It's what theologians call theodicy. How you going to have an all-powerful, all-good God allow suffering, evil, and injustice? It's a contradiction. And y'all, that's where we are right now, in a season of contradictions. Ludacris, help me.
Oh my goodness.
I dream I could tell Martin Luther we made it, but half of my black brothers are still incarcerated.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Oh my goodness.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
But ask Luda why they got incarcerated. Was it because of Donald J. Trump? Was it because this theodicy issue? No. You live wild, you're going to go to jail for the most part. Now, look, okay, you can talk about, well, not everybody in jail did the crime. Okay, most did. Most did. Why are we quoting Ludacris in the church? Are you serious? Guys, it's not going to be the last rapper being quoted. It's not going to be the last rapper that's being quoted. What are we doing? What?
Luda is saying he has a dream that he wants to tell Martin that after he was assassinated, we kept on making progress, but instead we have a criminal justice system that is criminal. And
let me say this, because I'm tired of a lot of this complaining from black people, like the criminal justice system out to get you. For the most part, the reason why people are in the position they are in is because you always have this too. Somebody can murder someone and think the criminal justice is out to get them, selling drugs, and they out there just providing a means for their family, right? Those are the people complaining about the law generally. Law-abiding citizens, bro. For the most part, we live in a system. For the most part, if you're a law-abiding citizen, bro, you ain't got nothing to worry about, right? Are there injustices? Of course. So if someone claps back, he's just saying the government always does right. You're not listening to what I'm saying. For the most part, if you're doing the right thing, government ain't just messing with you, out to get you. All right. So I'm tired of all these complaining from a lot of black people. Look, go get your job, work, start your own business. Bro, let's work together. Let's go and get this money, right?
Downright unjust contradictions. Y'all still did not get this. Contradictions. We have one person, one vote. No, we don't have that in this country because of the Electoral College. And yet even the Electoral College fooled us because we did not know that the president of the United States is from South Africa by the name of Elon Musk.
You got to stop doing that. You got to
Boy, ain't
stop
no way,
doing
boy.
that.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
I've seen a lot of this where a lot of people have been arguing that Elon Musk is actually the president and not Donald Trump. Dude, this is dumb. This is stupid. Elon Musk ain't the president. Nobody voted for him on any ballot. Like, what is he talking about? Now, he may try to argue, well, actually, Elon Musk is the man behind Donald Trump. No, What is this doing? What is he doing?
Just trying to let you know there are some contradictions that we are dealing with in this day. Contradictions. Can I give you some more contradictions? We live in a country, sadly, my sisters and brothers, where this weekend we're celebrating King and inaugurating a crook on the same.
I mean, what does that got to do with anything? Like, let's grant it. Let's say it's true. Let's say Donald Trump is the biggest crook and King is a virtuous person. What does that got to do with January 20th? Like, nobody owns that day. All right.
Day. Contradiction. You didn't like that, did you? I got to keep it moving since y'all not saying with me.
Carlos said Trump won the popular vote. What is he talking about? The Electoral College. Didn't he won the Electoral College too? I mean, that's like the big one. And so I mean, yeah. What is he talking about? What does this have to do with Habakkuk 2:2? It literally has nothing to do. This whole sermon was a rant and a preaching of Dr. King. Look, okay, you like King, whatever. I don't care. But what does the Bible have to do with just exegeting King's life as if you're preaching Habakkuk 2:2? It really doesn't. It really doesn't.
Here's what else, another contradiction. This contradiction is manifest in the fact that there is an all-out war on DEI.
What'd you say now, Chuck?
As there should be. As there should be. I don't care about equity. I care about equality. What's the difference, you ask? Equity just says we need black people in jobs. We need people of different diversity. So we're just going to put them in there. Equality says it's meritoriously based. Someone has actually earned that position. Look, I don't want to see people who just look like me in jobs. They have no clue what they're going to do. Right? I mean, that's not virtuous. Look, I'm cool with diversity if they are actually equal. They actually can benefit in their actual position they earn. Nobody cares about someone's diversity when they're getting heart surgery. I hope you don't. Can you actually do the job? That's my first question. Can you do the job you're performing, sir, ma'am? If not, I don't care if you're a black transgender female. I don't care. That gets no brownie points with me. My goodness. Yes. DEI is bad. It is bad. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw that lady who was a firefighter. She was a firefighter, and she was asked about can females actually carry a man out of a burning building? And you want to know what this lady ma'am said? Did y'all hear this? She was like, well, a man shouldn't have got himself in that position. What? No. That's your response to me being in a burning building? Sir, you shouldn't have gotten. Okay, probably not. But now that I'm here, help me out. Like, that's wild. Yeah, it was the LA fire chief. Come on, man. That's a position that you don't need. You don't need somebody in. They can't actually do the job. You have a job that is physical, yet a person can't actually meet the physical requirements to pull someone out of a burning building. That's your job. You won't need to be asking them how they got there. I'm here. It don't matter how I got here. I'm here. Help me, right? I mean, my goodness.
By the same folk who will lift up, I have a dream that my 4 little children will sit at the table of brotherhood and sisterhood.
I didn't even know I Have a Dream by Dr. King was a DEI speech. I thought it was about just being equal, which I agree with that. Look, I just want the opportunity. I want equal opportunity that the white person, the Hispanic, the Asian have. You don't have to put me through the door if my work isn't there, but I want to know if I've earned my education, my hard work, the qualification necessary for a job, that I have the same right as anybody else. That's all. You don't hire me. I don't want to be no black hire quota. Don't hire me because I'm black. Hire me because my job worker says, yeah, he can do the job. Because guess what? You get the job and guess what? They fire you because you can't perform the task at hand. I mean, there's so many issues wrong with DEI that actually does not benefit minorities. Okay, yeah, they get the job, but they don't tell you how many black people they fired because they couldn't perform the qualifications. Now, if black people perform the qualifications, hey, hire them. I love to see it. I love it. Right? But just hiring black people just because they black ain't nothing we need to be happy about. I know a lot of black people get mad when you say things like this, but someone said, "This is Habakkuk 2.2 or Rosa Parks 2.2," right? Yeah, exactly. We got a lot more to talk about. Let's keep going, man, because I mean, this is just social justice sermonettes.
The hood under the family of God. Now, you anti-DEI. That's really a trip, because for the entirety of this country, white supremacy and racism has locked black people and women out of doors of opportunity. And as a consequence, now we're simply saying DEI, and they're saying, oh, that means that you are less than. You would not.
Let me say this. Historically, that has been the case. No one can deny the historical reality of the injustices that black people, minorities have faced in this country. No question. But is that going on now? Like, what job is saying, I'm not going to hire you because you're black? I mean, that probably would be the worst thing for that company. I mean, they probably literally would suffer so much loss. Let me just say this. It does not benefit you, for the most part, to be a racist company, because you're going to get so much backlash. And I have a book by, what's the guy's name? I have him in my, Thomas Sowell, Disparities in Discrimination. And he talks about how actually being only for a particular set of people, let's say white people, doesn't benefit you as a company, because you're trying to sell to a mass amount of people, right? And one of the examples, and then he talked about how, like in the NBA, the teams who actually struggle the most are the teams who didn't put black people on the team, right? Who were better athletes, better basketball players. And those teams actually, so that's why Bill Russell has like 10 NBA championships, right? I mean, there's so much stuff to get into. Like, man, we could talk about socially how, man, racism actually doesn't benefit the group that it's trying to be racist for, right? Especially today. I mean, we can get into this, but let's keep going.
Equal to, and so it's stigmatized to be a DEI person. If you see them, would y'all tell them I'm DEI? I dynamically earned it. Tell them.
No. When did DEI become that? But watch what else he says DEI is.
I am DEI. Tell them that I am divinely empowered and inspired.
Sir, what?
What'd you say now, Chuck?
You got to stop doing that. You got to stop doing that.
DEI means divinely empowered and inspired, sir. That's blasphemous. You're not divine. You're not inspired. I don't even want to grant you the empowered part, but okay. This is just silly. You're just reinterpreting DEI. I could make DEI something. Look, what do I got? I got the D and the I. I need a word for E that's like silly. Okay, dumb, egregiously idiotic. How about that for DEI? How about that one, right?
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Let them know I am DEI and proud of it, because here's the deal. Y'all know what Grandma and Big Mama told you. To be black in this country, you got to be twice as good to get half as much. And we haven't settled for half. We've gotten more. And as a consequence of our being not just twice as good, but 3 times as good, 4 times as good, look at what we've done. We've produced great music. strategic. Look at what we've done. We've produced great scientists and inventors. Look at what we've done. We've produced the best teachers. If you want to really get taught, get you a good black teacher, a good black male, or a good black female teacher.
Let me say this. I don't suggest having any color school teacher. Hey, I suggest, for the most part, especially public school, right? Get you a good homeschool teacher, right? AKA your mama and your daddy, right? This is just mess. This is just madness. I've never seen so much people accomplish so much, whining so much. Black people don't accomplish so much, and here we got the great grandchildren crying so much. yeah. What do you say? Demonic entity identified. That's right. How about that for DEI? Yeah, you ain't gonna hear nothing about Jesus in this sermon, so I'm sorry, y'all. Yeah, all this is just a ranting about DEI, Dr. King, and Trump is the bad orange man, right? That's why all these people had to vilify Soulja Boy and Snoop Dogg for whatever your reasons, right? If you do something as seen as contradictory to black people, they call you Uncle Tom, coon. Y'all know the terms. I'm my own person, bro. I don't have to lockstep with quote unquote black thought. Like black people, but ones be doing like white person. He do anything, right? White people don't like kick him out of the white race. Black people, you like country music. You got people, you ain't black. It's like, I don't have to like what you like. Anyways. All right. This was going to be wild, y'all. I'm literally just going to play this.
An assignment that is given. Look at the assignment that is given. He says right there in verse 2. He says, here's what you do. Write the vision. Make it plain. Write the vision. This is your year, but have you written the vision? I know what you're dreaming about doing, but have you written it down so that you, by the end of the year, can look back and see what God has said, what God has done, what God has edited, what God has erased, what God has replaced? You got to write the vision down. Write that vision. What is vision? Vision, preview of coming attractions. Vision, a preview of what's possible in the midst of your present predicament. You've got to write down the vision. You've been given an assignment. An assignment. I love that. Common in the song Glory raps about it powerfully. He talked about shots fired, we go down, cameras pan up. King pointed to the mountaintop and we ran up. Why? Because
why he talking about Common, the rapper?
There's power in vision. There's power in seeing where you can go. And not only that, y'all didn't feel Common. Let me give you, who is it? Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick got a powerful piece I got to give you. I typed it out and I want to make sure y'all get it. Here's what Kendrick said. While you waiting, I be off the slave ship, building pyramids, writing my own hieroglyphs. I hope y'all get that. He says y'all just sitting around waiting and doing.
Why are we quoting Kendrick Lamar?
Nothing. I got off that slave ship a long time ago, and now I'm writing my own hieroglyphs that other folk can't quite understand, but I'm writing them anyhow because I'm not defined by your expectations. I'm not defined by what you think I am. It ain't no big three. It's just me. I know that. Y'all know that. I'm simply saying when God...
It's like the rapping pastor. Just, oh my goodness. This is cringy.
Gives you a vision. God is so amazing that the vision is exceedingly abundantly above all you can ask or imagine, according to the power that's at work within you. The vision.
Yeah, I like what brother here said. Let me get a shout out to him. Preaching training. He says, tell me what Jesus, Paul, John, and Peter said. Tell me what Moses said. Tell me what Jeremiah said. Tell me what Isaiah said. Well, Caleb, you're just being too religious. I don't care. No. The people of God need to know what the word of God says. This man has spent his whole time talking about Dr. King, Ludacris, Kendrick Lamar, Common. I was waiting for Sexy Red. No. It's got nothing to do. Right? Yeah, Lamar Edwards, man. He says, write the vision. What is he writing? He is writing what God said to Habakkuk, not what Habakkuk wanted, because what he wanted was not God's will. You know, so many people use this verse to say, like, write your plans down. That's not what Habakkuk is about. That sure ain't what Kendrick, Common, and Ludacris talking about. My goodness.
It's granted. Okay. Oh, watch this. It was all a dream.
Oh my goodness.
No. Okay. Some of y'all looking at me strange. If you see somebody looking at me strange, tell them, okay? That's Biggie. It was all a dream. That's hot right there. And here's what Biggie does. Biggie then talks about when he was a young kid. And this is before Source magazine, and as a consequence, he's seeing, watch this, Biggie is seeing rap artists who are killing it. And Biggie says he started because of what he saw in them, dreaming of what he could be himself. Because vision has to do with what you see, beyond what you see. Ooh, that's good right there.
Someone said, I'm looking at him strange. We all are. We all are, sir.
Why you always lying?
He brought Prophet Biggie Smalls in the building. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What does Biggie have to do with your sermon text? This is so bad. This is so bad. One more clip of him and we'll move on to our next contestant, Apostle Biggie.
So it's movement time. It's movement time. It's movement time. I've seen the vision. It's time to move. It's movement time. Let's keep on moving. Let's keep on grooving. Move until everybody has access to quality health care that does not put them out of business.
Now he's about to rant on, political policies he wants to see in play, right? But that aren't going to happen because, i.e., Donald Trump is Hitler 2.0, according to him, right? But let's keep going.
To quality health care that does not put them out of business. Move until everybody has access to a living wage and not a minimum wage. Move until we get money out of politics and our politics don't go to the highest bidder. Move until we get rid of the Electoral College and we have a nation of one person and one vote. Move.
Wait a second. He wants to get rid of the Electoral College where there's only one person. He's actually arguing for some kind of like that there's only one person that can be run for, and that's the only person we can vote for. That's ridiculous. I mean, this isn't democracy at all. Like, how is this for the people? If you say we have to vote for the only person that we're giving, this is, I said there, this is Marxist. This is.
Oh, move! Keep on moving until we have a constitutional amendment that guarantees the right to vote. No.
Guess what? If you're an American citizen, you can vote in this land. What are you talking about? Everybody who's an American citizen who doesn't have a felony can vote. I don't know what he's talking about. This is like the whole thing, like black people don't know how to get IDs. Oh, this is bad.
We gonna move. It's time to move because if we move, we shall overcome.
I told y'all he was on that Ludacris. When I move, you move, just like that. Hey, Biggie, bring that back. What is this guy talking about? You gotta avoid old Freddie Haynes like the plague. What a mess. What a mess. But we're not done. No. Speaking of politicians, we got to talk about Al Sharpton. Y'all know about Al? He been in the game a long time. And he's still at it, man. He is still at it. Old Al Sharpton. Somebody invited this man to a church and let him preach. And it's just as bad. So let's actually talk about it. Let's get into old Sharpton.
But we don't know the Dr. King that stood up, indicted for stealing money out of the Montgomery Improvement Association, dragged through the mud. And Dr. King all that happened because of that Montgomery boycott. I preached at Dexter Avenue, the church he pastored. I preached there 3 Sundays ago, and I was reminded of the stories from some of them. But again, he learned it from Adam right here in this church. And that's why tomorrow in Washington, they're going to inaugurate President Trump, 47th President of the United States, which he won the election. But across town at Metropolitan AME, we're having a rally. Church where Frederick Douglass was funeralized, church where we brought Rosa Parks' body, and we're going to start a 90-day countdown. We're going to start some of these companies that want to end DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Well, they can do that. But you cannot end diversity, equity, and inclusion and have diverse consumers.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Because the whole issue of DEI, equity, is not based on merits, but is based on just the fact that it's diverse. We're going to include people of diversity, regardless if they actually are qualified for the job. I don't want equity. I want equality. There's a huge difference between the two, right? And just because let's just say this. Just because someone's not able to reach the outcome as me or as another person doesn't mean there's an injustice going on, right? Can you imagine someone who's 5'5" complaining that the NBA is unjust because they're not as tall as the average NBA player? Would it be just to cut everybody's legs off a foot to meet the standards of the person that's 5'5"? No, it wouldn't. Right? Again, just because everyone's not able to reach the same outcome doesn't mean necessarily there's an injustice going on. We need equal opportunities for all people, not equal outcomes. That's my position, and I think there is fairness in that. But let's keep going.
So we going back to the King Adam thing. We're going to call some boycotts in about 90 days.
So they about to rip and rave through the town and boycott these places that won't, adhere to DEI, which is silly. All right, do you, boo?
So since you don't want to assure us of nothing, we will buy from those that will give us what it is that we think we deserve.
Why is she crying? Like, she either crying or she mad bored. Either one, but it looked like she's crying at me. And why y'all talking about why y'all saying this man look like Cat Williams? Someone called him a Harry Potter's mentor. Y'all wrong. Leave him alone.
And the Senate and the Congress and the President, Congressman SBI, they can't make no legislation to make us buy where we are not respected. So when we start withdrawing our dollars, if Adam Powell could do it in the 30s, if Martin Luther King could do it in the 50s, then what's wrong with us with all this stuff we got to work with? I mean, I don't understand it. They closed the country down. Do you understand that Dr. King never knew what a cell phone was? Never had social media, never knew Facebook, never knew Instagram. And here we got all these ways to communicate.
Now, I find it insulting to people who actually went to a lot of hardships, like King and even people before him. I think of Jim Crow, segregation laws and things like that, water fountains, and back it up. I find it insulting to the people who actually fought for justice to say, well, they won't hire me because of DEI. I mean, look, we live in a society where, look, if someone's being, unjust, start your business. And guess what? I'll support people. I'll support you if there's like some major injustice where they saying we ain't gonna let black people work here because we racist. Well, guess what? Black people have historically, I think of there was Black Wall Street. What was it, in Oklahoma City? Thrived during a period of extreme racial prejudice. Look, let's get together and work. We ain't got to cry all the time. The white man holding me back, man. I can't do nothing. Yes, you can. There's opportunities out there. Let's go get it. Man, black people have done so much in this country in the face of injustice and being held back in. But man, we got so much and complain all the time. Come on, man.
Got 2 cell phones in your pocket. On Instagram, on TikTok, they about to knock you out, but you're on everything else.
TikTok back now.
50 ways to communicate and can't get 5 Negroes together to do nothing.
Yeah, there's so much. It's a mess. It's a mess. Let's keep going. What else we got? All right, let's go to this. Because he wanted to talk about Nebuchadnezzar. Let's hear what he has to say.
Whom you've set over the affairs of the province of Babylon. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And we want you to know that when the music plays, they have not bowed. I want to use for thought. I'm going to stop right there. I want to use for thought. Don't bow. Don't bow.
Now, I agree with this principle. We don't bow. We don't bow to what the government tells us if they're telling us to do something contrary to the faith. Totally agree with that. But it don't just apply to Republicans. It applies to the Democrats, which he's been lobbying for decades. How come it's bow to them? Shout out to my sis, Blake 3, with the gifted memberships. Y'all enjoy it. Y'all enjoy it. Hold on, I gotta cook on that.
Let him cook! I said, let him cook!
Yeah, thanks for the memberships. But again, bowing is not just a one-party principle. We don't bow to either party that's telling us to contradict our faith. Oh yeah, so now Trump is Nebuchadnezzar? Oh yeah, he's going to say that, essentially. He's going to compare it to Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar was literally throwing people in the fire for not worshiping him. Is that what Trump is doing? Bow to me and worship me, or prison time. Is that what he's doing? Biden wasn't doing that. Like, we have literally never had a Nebuchadnezzar type president. As bad as you think they have all been, or any have been, whatever your flavor. But he's gonna make some wild comparisons. Watch this.
We are being told that we are in precarious times. Tomorrow, while we're rallying, Donald Trump will be sworn in. And he has said that he's going to start immediately with a aggressive immigration policy.
Praise be to God. Why do I say that? Because I'm against immigrants? Absolutely not. I am for immigration. When it's done the right way. When it's done the right way, a nation has laws, borders, policies that protect the people. Because when you just allow all sorts of mass flooding of immigration, you get problems. Why? I mean, we see that now, don't we? Don't we see that now where, I mean, you're literally hearing viral story after viral story of somebody coming over here illegally. I mean, we got fentanyl being just blown into this country. People just murdering random people. We need controlled immigration. People who we know who coming in. I mean, let's just get to that. We need to know who's coming into the country. Oh, you're a law-abiding citizen? Have you been a problem in your own country? Let's get to that. Oh, you want to come over here legally? Yes. How may we help you? Right? You selling fentanyl to everybody and trying to come over here? No, sir. You been murdering over there? No, sir, ma'am. We don't need, and yes, we need to be about the American people first before we can help other people. Shout out to Blake again with this gifted membership. Look at that DEI coming in, helping a brother. Yeah. We don't need this just allowing all. Yes. Look, we need it to be controlled. You have so many problems when that's not the case. And because then you have the illegal immigrants coming over here, taking jobs from people that should be here. Again, look, I know, a lot of people who complain about them taking jobs don't even want to do the jobs that they're doing. I get it. So there needs to be a balance. But sometimes people hire them because they're less pay and they can't pay. They won't pay the people. I mean, you can pay people like $5, $6. They'll be happy. Why? Because, I mean, they can't, it's hard to find jobs if you don't have actual American status. So they take whatever they can get, even undocumented jobs under the table. Y'all know how it is. Under the pay jobs. You pay $5, $6 an hour where you have to pay somebody like 14, 15. Of course, they're going to go with the person that's less. From a business perspective, it makes sense. But I mean, those are things that people aren't thinking about. Some people.
Mass deportation. He's already said they're going into Chicago. I had the mayor of Chicago on the phone with us last night. He also said he's going to sign executive orders against DEI. He says he's going to do several things. And there is...
Let me read this super. Shout out to Cap America. He says, historical point as to what was said earlier, Tulsa, Oklahoma, specifically the Greenwood district. It's what were Higher Dimension Christian Center, what stood as Transformation Church stands today. Yeah. There's some interesting things about Tulsa in and of itself when it comes to historic racism and things like that.
The debate among many of how to deal with Trump. Some say, well, we ought to go to Mar-a-Lago and see him. When he got elected first time, he called me and invited me to Mar-a-Lago, and I've known Donald Trump 30-some years, marched on him about Central Park 5. We had several encounters. And he said, we can talk. I said, I will only talk to you if we can bring all the civil rights leaders.
Now, it's interesting how people kind of, Trump has, been personified by like people like Sharpton. Because, I mean, just, a few years ago, man, they were loving Trump. I mean, all the rappers were at Trump. And it's like almost like there's an agenda when it comes to Trump specifically. I ain't saying everybody being paid, but it's like they flip. I mean, Trump hasn't really, he's been his same guy and same person in some sense, right? He's always been kind of speak it how he thinks it kind of guy, for better or for worse, right? But yeah, Chubby AI. Y'all miss Chubby AI?
I know them. I said, well, I'm not doing the photo op.
He said he's not doing a photo op. Bro, you got plenty of pictures with Trump online. Plenty. Now, you were big then. You were Big Al. Not Thin Al, but yeah.
And I didn't meet with him. Then when we got Choose Healthy Life going with Dr. Butts and I, we called and tried to get them to help get the churches. And it's interesting to me. When Biden got in and Mrs. Jill Biden came to this church, walked with Sister Butts and Dr. Butts, getting vaccination for people. The guy they putting over health now had people marching on the corner of this church against black church folks getting vaccination.
I know a lot of black people didn't want that shot. Me being one of them. I don't want that shot. You can keep that, bro. You can keep it, man. But yeah, as someone's quoted, all this is just black liberation theology, where Christian now becomes some kind of social political movement to effect change rather than the gospel. That's what I want to ask these guys. What is the gospel? Who is Christ? Those things are actually at the bottom in some of these churches. But going out and marching, that is top priority of the Christian church.
I'm not talking about back in the day. I'm talking about a couple years ago. Marched on a black church if black people wanted to be vaccinated. They're going to power tomorrow. And they're going to threaten a lot of things, and they're going to say that we must bend and buckle and bow to them. They're in charge. But I come to remind you that this church and the black church was not built on that.
So yeah, apparently today is Trump's way of saying you need to bow. Apparently comparing him to Nebuchadnezzar, accusing him of demanding people worship him. Guys, that's not an interpretation. He's going to literally say that in a second. You don't believe me? Just stand by. We'll get to that in a second. It might be this one. Oh, no, it's the next clip, but listen to this too.
And he said, when you hear the music.
Oh, yeah, watch this.
I want you to bow. Yeah. Somebody came to Nebuchadnezzar. You know, there's always some snitches around. And they went, you read the scripture. They went, Daniel 3, read the whole chapter. He said, Almighty King, you know you got to play this ego. You don't believe it, look at the inauguration tomorrow. You got to play the ego. Said, did you not decree that when the music played, we had to bow to your God?
Now notice, there was a little allusion right there that Trump's going to be playing the music and telling people to bow. Look, I've seen some of the coverage. But I haven't seen Trump saying anywhere or ever to tell people to bow to me or you're going to die like Nebuchadnezzar. I mean, this is just some extreme creating fear in people. That's all this does. Be fearful. You know, you go in barbershops, people like, man, hey, I heard Trump said you got to worship me or you're going to die. That was silly. One more of this, just so you can see.
Bendigo went with him, and they threw him in the fiery furnace, burning him up 7 times hotter than ever before. But before the story ends, Nebuchadnezzar the king looked. So wait a minute, I thought I put 3 in there. But it looked like I can count 4. And the 4th one looks like the Son of God. I come to this historic church to tell you I hear Trump's music. But I can't bow.
So notice he's been saying Nebuchadnezzar would play the music. Every time you play the music, that is the call to worship. And he's saying, hey, I hear Trump's music, but I'm not bowing. As if even Trump is asking for that. Again, Trump got his issues, but he ain't telling people to worship him. I mean, Biden wasn't saying that. Harris wasn't saying that, right? Again, if you're going to critique somebody, criticize them, at least be fair to what they're actually saying. This is just creating fear, and the whole church is just clapping. What are they clapping about? Like, nobody in this church says, wait a second. He ain't saying that. And I don't like Trump, but even Trump ain't saying that.
The God of Martin Luther King, the God of Adam Powell. Oh, they gonna throw us in some furnaces. Sheena, they gonna mess with us. But every furnace they got, God can step into flames.
So yeah, we're going to be thrown in some furnace. And maybe he means that symbolically. We're going to be thrown in prison if we don't bow the knee to Trump demanding worship. This is conspiratorial mess right here he's throwing out.
We come too far to turn around now. We fought too many battles. We suffered too many nights in jail. We buried too many of our martyrs. I can't bow.
Yeah, black people have come too far. only to be praising and promoting Sexy Red, right? I mean, what a shame. What a shame, right? Yeah, what a grifter. What a grifter, man. That the fact that this man is in the pulpit doing all this nonsense, right? Well, we got one more person to talk about, and that's Martin Luther King's youngest child herself. What's her name? Hold on. What's her name? Is it Bernice King? I think it's Dr. Bernice King. We got to talk about Dr. Bernice King, right? Where she was in some church, and I can't think of this guy's name, but I got his face. Maybe you guys can help me when I show him. But he is just terrible. LGBT church, Black liberation theology, all this mess in this church. Well, let's hear what old Bernice has to say as we talk about it.
A carrier of the flame for nonviolent change. Some might call her the woman king.
Who actually calls Bernice King the woman king? Terrible movie, by the way. Ain't gonna be no all women tribe out there just taking over lands, and that was just a feminist movie. I watched it. I mean, I like the main actor, right? She's good in her films, right? But it was just a pro-feminist movie, like they just gonna be taking out all the men tribes. I mean, sounds cool for, movies, but I don't think that's real, right? But she's the woman king. Her last name King. Chill.
Now is our chance to hear a call to conscience, an encouragement for our souls. Following her call to commemoration, we will hear from the incomparable, legendary gospel artist, Vanessa Bell Armstrong. Won't you receive Reverend Dr. Bernice A. King?
God bless you. God bless you. Hallelujah. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so. Hallelujah. I want to take a moment of silence.
What's that? You see the guy on her left? What's his name? I know somebody. There's like 400 people watching right now. Somebody has to know his name. I can't think of it for the life, because I was going to review a sermon of his not too long ago. But I can't remember his name, because I know this church is like pro LGBT, pro everything, they're anti everything Bible, pro abortion, all this stuff. And I was going to do a sermon on him one day, but I forgot his name. Somebody's going to know it. Somebody's going to know it. When they do, I'll let y'all know.
For Cornelius Taylor, who was tragically killed right across the street by a bulldozer driven by an Atlanta Department of Works employee while he was clearing an encampment of our unsheltered brothers and sisters. Can we take that moment now? Amen. Today marks 40 years since the inception of the national...
That's his name, Dr. Anthony Barber. Let me make sure. Let me make sure, because is it Anthony Trent Barber? No? Let me see. Somebody gave a name, but that don't sound familiar. William Barber. That's what it is. William Barber. Reverend William Barber. That's the name. Yeah. Y'all got it. See, I knew someone would help me out. This is like an extreme woke LGBT Black liberation church there is. It is a mess of a church.
No holiday. And this is only the third time it has coincided with the presidential inauguration. However, this time it has become a major factor for so many people because of the notable contrast in the two men who are sharing the same space in today's news cycle and on today's Gregorian calendar. For some, today's inauguration represents the best of times. Make America great again. And for others, it highlights the worst of times. Set America back again.
So apparently Trump being in office is about to set us back. And you know who the us is? Black people. Right? Black people, we about to be set back. That's the fear they want to create. That, see, since Trump is being in office, it's about to set us back. But they act like this man wasn't just president in our recent history, right? Were we set back as black people? Now, a lot of black people were like, man, it was some good times under Trump. Now, look, is it going to be the best? Is Trump going to be the best president ever known to man? Look, that's still up for, determination and debate. Probably not, but whatever. But they want you to believe that this is going to be worse than before Abe Lincoln. What's the conclusion? This is going to be like worse than slavery. Donald Trump being in office. That's why I say all the fear mongering going on is just ridiculous. Ridiculous.
For some, today's King holiday represents a day to champion freedom, justice, and democracy. For others, it's a day to decry DEI, disavow a legacy of peace, love, and justice, and distort the meaning of King's words. But regardless of how this day shows up for you, we must remember the mission and be in pursuit of it. Now, one of the most important words in the whole...
Now ask yourself, what is the mission of the church? To fight for DEI? To proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ and what is written in Scripture? I think there's an obvious one.
Bible is remember. It is when the...
Well, and actually, Michelle, hopefully I pronounced your name right. She says, are we not free? Are we not free in Christ? Yeah, well, yeah, we're definitely free in Christ. But these people act like black people, like literally walking around and ball in chains. Like if all you saw was her picture, you didn't know the historic times. Let's say you just got, let's say you were a person from the 1600s, right? And you got transported and all you saw was this video after you got surprised that there was such thing as video, right? You would be like, dang it, man, we still ain't free. If you heard this person speak, I mean, you would literally be thinking that.
Children of Israel forgot that they lost ground, were set back, and became subject to ruthless leaders. Instead of focusing on the land that God had promised them, the people were afraid and complained about the obstacles and the enemies. As a result...
Now, she wants to talk about ruthless leaders. Let's look no further than Biden. All the abortion that happened under the country, the trans madness, LGBT madness happening in this country, mass immigration that literally killed people in this country. I mean, there has been so much negativity around Biden's presidency, but they ignore all that and bad Trump. Look, you can not like Trump. I'm not trying to take that away from you. But to say he's worse than what we've had for the last 4 years, I think is just silly. I'm not the biggest Trump guy. I've said that. He ain't a Christian. But we were going to see way worse with Kamala. I mean, she was going to be more radical than Biden, which is saying a lot.
The very thing they feared came upon them, and that generation never reached the promised land. My father and those that aligned with his leadership were faced with impossible circumstances. They dealt with recalcitrant and defiant leaders. They lacked political representation. They didn't have laws or policies in place to buttress them. Yet they didn't recoil or retreat. In spite of Bull Connor and his dogs, water hoses, and billy clubs, in spite of Governor George Wallace, who said segregation today, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever, in spite of Sheriff Jim Clark, who used violence to beat back people seeking to register to vote, in spite of Southern Dixiecrats who were determined to keep segregation legal by signing a Southern Manifesto, today's Project 2025.
Notice she's comparing Project 2025 to actual racist policies. To my knowledge, Project 2025 ain't say nothing about segregation from black people. Now, let me just say this. You got a lot of black people that want to segregate. Obviously, I don't support that, but this is just madness being, again, it's supposed to create fear. See, prepare for actual slavery and Jim Crow laws. That's kind of the flavor of what she's trying to say. My goodness, this is so bad.
Despite all they faced, it was with the power of a soul force generated by love, a spiritual determination to stay focused on mission, and a belief that with God nothing is impossible, that they were able to destroy de jure by law segregation without destroying people. They were able to get the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act signed into law. They understood that the mission was greater than any political party.
You know what I'm thankful for? And I've seen this over the last few years, that a lot of black people are kind of tired of all this. They're tired of all the woke stuff. Even people who aren't Christian, right? They're tired of being told, you know, if they just keep trusting in democratic policies, they're going to be thriving. You look at a lot of those democratic cities. Look at Atlanta. Look at Baltimore. Right? Look at these cities that are democratically ran, where apparently the epitome of non-racism is, and look how terrible it is for black people. I ain't moving to Atlanta. I ain't moving to Baltimore or Houston. I don't want to live in Dallas. North Dallas, north of that. It's nice up here, right? Look at those cities and like that, and look how bad it is from a, you know, you talk about the public schools there are terrible. They're pushing all this DEI madness, and you got people, bro, fifth graders, or sorry, you got people on a fifth grade educational level. Bro, that is terrible. Yeah, Chicago. That's right. Terrible. But I'm supposed to keep trusting in the system. That's, at least we don't promote racism. Now, I don't think the right is promoting racism. Now, look, you could be a racist no matter your political status. Look, I've met black people race. I've met Hispanics. I've met Asian race. Yeah, it ain't got nothing to do with your political standpoint, right? I'm just tired of this lie being pushed that Trump just gonna bring in racism back, but we're not going back to segregation, bro. People were living so much better under Trump's America. You know, I mean, that's a fact. I mean, that is not even debatable. But as long as we have some universal health care and can murder babies, my goodness.
Or governor, mayor, police commissioner, congressperson, senator, or president. It was a mission ultimately commanded by God to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with our God. As this day...
Sorry, let me go back to... all right, let's check this out. Let's check this out, because now she's about to get on to the woke stuff.
We will not go back.
You hear that? We will not go back. We will not go back. I mean, what are we coming back from? I mean, if you hear her mind, it sounds like she's saying slavery and Jim Crow. I mean, most people who are clapping that, most people who are saying all this stuff actually didn't live in that era. I mean, she didn't grow up in that era. I mean, she's the daughter of King. King might have, but she didn't grow up in that. Right? So it's just interesting to hear this language anyway.
We will not go back. And not only that, we will not close our eyes. We will not be.
Someone said Donald Trump is you people last presidential. I think you mean you're saying he's our last president. Again, they've been throwing around this fearmongering that, see, Trump is going to say he's the last president. You're not going to have an actual presidential vote anymore. Even though, funny enough, that's what the last gentleman was just arguing for, that we just have one vote. Again, Trump doesn't have the power that they're actually claiming he does. I mean, we have checks and balances and things like that. So
silent in the spirit of love, in the spirit of determination, we declare that we will remain woke because too much is on the line.
Notice she says, we're going to remain woke. We're going to stay woke. We've heard that phrase before, right? Of a lot of conscious people. But what has that gotten you? What has the staying woke gotten you? Joe Biden? Kamala Harris? I mean, these are the pinnacle of staying woke. I mean, what are you referring to? LGBT nonsense? Trans Day? What has it actually gotten you? If that's staying woke, keep that over there. Get y'all own, go to your own country. Y'all can have California. How about that? Don't escape the pit of hell over there. Shout out to my Californians, right? I got love for y'all. Stay over there. Don't dare cross the borderline, right? I'll hit you with the lifeline, or you will be shot.
Our health care is on the line. The equitable education of our children.
Hold on, health care? You know what they mean by that? Abortion. Equitable education system, the public school, they're talking about critical race theory in the school.
Is on the line. Our housing affordability is on the line. Our basic civil rights protections are on the line.
What basic civil rights protection are you being threatened with losing? That's what I want to know. I mean, none of this is being defined, right? So it needs a little interpretation.
Our economic safety net is on the line. DEI is on the line. The learning of our true history is on the line. Our voting rights are on the line.
Who can't vote? Who is being threatened with losing their vote for, obviously I'm not talking about felons, American citizens, right? Once you reach the age to vote, who is being threatened with not being able to vote? I mean, this is silly.
Freedom, justice, and democracy are on the line, and the survival of our humanity is on the line.
But you know what's actually threatening the existence of black people? Abortion. You think she's anti-abortion? Probably not, since she's in Barbara's church, right?
So I say to you, let us stay woke.
Stay woke.
Let us stay engaged. Let us not falter. Let us not stop. Let us not give up nor give out. We may get bruised. We may even get scars. We may face setbacks. But remember, setbacks sometimes are setups. We may suffer disappointments. But in the words of Martin Luther King Jr., we must accept finite disappointment, but never, ever lose infinite hope. Let us remember the mission, that it transcends any one administration and any one generation.
Yeah, someone said something I just thought about is so many people depend on the government for way too much. Like y'all want the government to be your daddy. I don't want the government to be my daddy. I just want them to protect me from doing what I want to do. That's just as a law-abiding citizen. I want small government. I want the government with as least power as it's functional for them to have, so I can just do what I want to do. The problem is the government got their hands in too much of our pockets. Can I get an amen on that? The government is too big. Now I'm hearing Trump wants to make it smaller, or to where they can't do what they're doing now. To that's a good thing. I don't want the government coming in my home telling me your kids need to be in public education school system. I don't want them telling me I need to do X, Y, and Z. Look, let me live my life. Let me live my life. I ain't worried about you. Look, I want me and the government to be like third cousins. We say hi every now and then at the family reunion. That's about it. Leave me alone. You got me on Facebook. What else you need to know? Right?
As my mother said, struggle is a never-ending process. Freedom is never really won. You earn it and you win it in every generation. Let's rise to the challenge to win it in this generation. Let us use the soul force of love to defend freedom, justice, and democracy. Let us stand up with an unwavering faith Let us embrace the spirit of nonviolence 365 and let us declare together the mission is possible.
The mission is possible. Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring. Right? I mean, you would have thought we just got released from slavery with that speech. Yeah, leave me alone, man. Get your hands out of my pocket.
You got to stop doing that. You got to stop doing that.
Yeah, man, there's so much mess. I mean, like I said, this is just black liberation theology. I mean, avoid that church. What a mess, right? Again, I'm so thankful that there are a lot of black people in this chat. Hey, I love my Caucasians too, but right? I mean, that are just like, man, I'm done with this. I'm tired of being told, right, to adhere to this system that actually don't benefit. You've been saying this all the time. Like, what has black liberation theology gotten you? Gotten majority of black people. But bro, here's what we need to tell. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to tell black people. Because I'm all about educating black people and helping my people out, so to speak, if you want to use that language, right? People who look like you, whatever, which is such a silly rhetoric, because people that look like you don't mean nothing. I mean, white people can harm white people. Black people can harm black. And it's the people that usually look like you the most that probably hurt you the most. Because that's generally who your affinity to, is generally who you see someone look like you like, hey, come on, bro. That's all I know, right? But it's like, let's tell black people, bro, get married. Stop having all these children out of wedlock. Stay out of jail, fathers. Raise your kids. Stop letting the public school raise your kids, telling y'all they come home twerking, come home talking about they a man. How about we do that? How about we educate our people, if you want to use that language? That's what I'm for. Telling black people, hey, start your own business, bro. Get educated about starting your own business. Then start your own business. I mean, that's going to be the rhetoric that I do for my own son. That he's just right over there. He's learning. Hey, we're going to give him Bible and business. Ain't that right, son?
Where can we learn about God?
He's smiling right now. Bible and business, son. Bible's first. Then after that, we tell you how to run a business. You want to come here? Hold on. He want to say hey. He want to say hey.
He's going to ask his catechisms.
Oh.
He just woke up.
He just woke up though, y'all. Oh. Say hey to the people. Say, Micah, Bible and business. Yeah, that's a good t-shirt.
Micah, can you see God?
Can you see God? Micah, can you see God? He's tired. No, oh no, you cannot see God.
But he
no.
can always see you.
That's right. Micah, what else we got?
Micah, is there more than one God?
Is there more than one God, Micah? No, there's not only one God, right? What else we got?
Micah, how much does Mama love you? So big.
Micah, who made you? Who made you, Micah? Yes, God did. That's right. What else did God make? Micah. All things. That's right.
Why did God make you?
Why did God make you? For his glory. That's right. Where can you learn about God?
Bible.
Hold on. Where can you learn about God? That's right. The Bible. Yes. Good job, Micah. You're so smart. Good job.
You're on TV.
See, he's learning. He's learning about God. We're teaching him, hey, basic principles about God using sign language, which I recommend. Guys, would y'all like this? I want to do a video on how to teach. I want to teach a video on how to teach your children. Me and my wife are talking about that, like just how to teach them, how we discipline. I think that would be educational for Christian parents, because I hear a lot of parents say like, man, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. And just kind of teach them like what we use and things like that. Would y'all be cool with that, parents? I see somebody say they love that. Yeah. Would y'all be cool with that? That's what we want to do. So we may do a video on that soon. So he's getting a lot of Bible. We're going to give him the business later. We're going to give him the business later. Yeah, we teach him. So I see a lot of parents saying, yes, please, yes. Yeah, baby sign language is great. I mean, from the womb, we were teaching.
Just day-to-day things.
Yeah, we teach him day-to-day stuff, like when he wants some more. What else we have? Like, he knows like water. Like, was that please? And so we teach your children sign language.
All done?
Yeah, all done. He'll be like, all done. So it's very helpful in communicating with your children because, they'll just cry. And you're trying like 50 things, right? So I am pro advocate of sign language. So yeah.
They pick up on it pretty fast.
Say that again?
They pick up on it pretty fast.
Yeah, they pick up on it very fast. So we'll try to do a video soon on like how we catechize our children. That is, we are teaching him basic questions, right? Like, hey, who made you? They're very short questions, but then as they get older, those questions expand. What is the chief end of man, right? Is to glorify God, enjoy him forever, right? The questions and answer will be a lot more comprehensive, but you teach them something baby level, right? But then, yeah. So, hey, we're going to teach him business. Hey, we're going to teach him. He may take over the all things theology, if, he gets saved. Hey, we can teach him. We'll teach him this. Imagine Micah, 20 years old doing that. I would love that.
As long as he's married.
I would love that. Hey, he could have this before he got married.
No, them shoulder moves.
My wife said he can't do that shoulder move until he's married. She said, hey, he might get married. Doing that shoulder move. So yes, hey, pray for Michael's salvation. Every night we pray for his salvation. Pray that he gets saved. Hey, he can have all things theology. I'll sell it to him, son. I'll sell this to you. You can have the channel, right? Or he could be my producer. You just never know. We're going to teach him business though. So yeah. So yes, thank you guys for watching. Enjoyed it. We'll be doing a premiere at 2. What else we got today? Yeah, time with family, all that, as my wife's right here. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, man.